Hello guys, welcome to the Spotlight Mic. I am Eddie Talk Smith and it's such a delight to be back here with you guys and just to have a conversation with you. Yes, Spotlight Mic has been off for a while. Not because we didn't have anything to talk about, but a lot has been happening from the Iranian war to the election crisis, election dramas and everything. So much to talk about, and believe me, there's a lot in store for us to dissect, and a lot of people who will be joining us on the Spotlight Mic. Even you listening to me right now, you might be lucky enough or I will be blessed to have you here with me, have a conversation concerning the recent happenings and the trends and how they affect us as young people. But what's today's conversation about? Now, could you believe that in a country of over 200 million people, 500,000 people, 500 people, is it 500 people? Yes, 500 people could not fill in that slot of 500, like a vacancy, or have been taken to global standard, according to the CEO of Moniepoint. Now, the CEO of Moniepoint, Tosin Eniolorunda, I've been trying so hard to pronounce that name, the CEO of Moniepoint, he recently stated that while Moniepoint had 500 vacancies, they struggled to find world-class talents. World-class talents. So I'm just going to play the video so that you can hear what you can hear from the horse's mouth. That is not me that said it, or it's not hearsay, or it's not that, okay, we heard but there's no evidence to back it up. He said that Moniepoint had 500 vacancies, but they could not find Nigerians with world-class talents to fill in those positions. Let's hear from the guy.
Nigeria, we have, if you go to Moniepoint career website now, which you can go and apply if you want to, we have probably maybe 500 vacancies or so. And we are struggling to find people to fill those roles. Not only could we not find people at the quality and the quantity we needed them, the few people that we found were not up to the global standards of quality that we needed. And we're competing globally. You're not competing with just local players. You people know my biggest competition. You know where they're from.
So you've heard that. 500 vacancies and not a single Nigerian made the cut. Dude, what are you saying? What are you talking about? You want to tell me that you did your research? Okay, you put up the ad for 500 vacancies and you didn't find up to, even if 100 people or 50 people, 20 people to say, okay, these are the people that made the cut or are close to this. I know he said he tried to blame the educational system, and of course the education in Nigeria, first of all, is a cry for help. The strikes, even the quality of teachers that we have, I'm sorry to say, are not some of the best in the world. But this is Nigeria we're talking about. This is a country that we have companies, international companies, coming to find candidates or recruit people for top positions, and you're saying that you couldn't find 500 people or 50 or 100 people to fill in your vacancy. I really want to understand the algorithm behind that search, or behind the interviews, or what could have made people is it that you rejected 500 people, or out of the 500 maybe 50 say they don't want, or maybe they are not comfortable with the working environment or the pay? But a lot of people have reacted to this as well. But I want to know, I'm going to play different reactions that I've heard as to what he said, because it's quite hilarious. Because I'm still trying to figure this thing out, and I need to understand it. I'm still trying so hard to figure it out. Now, this is the first reaction that I saw, and she was very emotional.
Moniepoint is stating BS. Big BS. You know why? Yes. There is a problem with the Nigerian employer in the Nigerian system. You don't want to pay. You want skillful workers, and you don't want to pay. I have over 15 years work experience, and I will tell you personally that the Nigerian system of employers are nothing to write home about. The first time I got an opportunity to work in this life by somebody in a corporate body, I was just with my SSCE, secondary school certificate, and I worked with BSc holders. And I was the first person out of 9 interviewers to be employed. Why? Because my boss has an international mindset, and I came with a little bit of work experience, and he told me, I am not for your CV. I am here to see if you can deliver.
So that's one of the reactions that we've heard. I mean, the lady reacted to the Moniepoint CEO Tosin, saying that what he said was BS. My initial reaction, I gave you my initial reaction, and there are other reactions to it which I'm still going to play, but you've heard what she said. Like, she said something that was very important there. You want to recruit people, exploit them, and you want to do your own part as an employer. There's something really wrong. Actually, there's something really wrong with our Nigerian labor market, and that's the Nigerian labor market. This is not government. We're talking about the private industry right now. But let me play another reaction before I give my own full assessment as to what is happening. This is another reaction from someone who is outside.
Finding it very hard to recruit people because they don't meet global standards, and you are trying to compete globally. That's very fine, sir. I can imagine where you're coming from. I just have a few questions, sir. I'm currently in the UK, and I would like to assume that you are that the UK is one of your yardstick to say you want to compete globally. So my own question is that at the moment in the UK, they currently pay about I think £13 thereabout an hour. I will roughly put it at 20,000 naira per hour. So I don't know, sir. I just want to ask if you are paying on that scale, which means if you are, you should be paying about 160,000 naira per day for a 9-to-5 job, which roughly amounts to about 3.2 million naira per month. So if you are paying within at least,
okay, I need to
especially
I need to finish
for the CEO of Money.
So I'm sorry I had to cut that off. He said that if you he basically just said if the CEO of Moniepoint is paying up to that amount, that's over 100,000 naira is it a day? Okay, I will come back to Nigeria and work. I will come back to Nigeria and work. I can refer some of my friends that will come and do the job, that I can actually deliver, that know the job. But one thing is knowing the job. There are still other reactions, but like I said, I'm just going to play the reactions so that you can see how intense and how explosive that comment and that statement he made was. And because he created a lot of chaos, and he made a lot of people very upset and felt very insulted. Okay, this is another video.
To see and your Lord.
I'm just gonna move forward because I think he was actually so this is it.
You heard him yourself, right? You heard what he said. Now let me just say this from my personal experience, right? As a Nigerian, first off, Nigerian companies are exploitative by nature. I know this because I work in the creative space. I do 3D designs for advertising agency. I do 3D visualization and animation for architects. I know that most times they want to pay you peanuts, one, and they don't want to overwork you. They'll be telling you, you do 3D, yes, but do you know a little bit of video editing? Do you know how to just do a little bit of web design, to do small back-end work in our websites? Like the jobs that they give you is beyond your scope of work, right? And then the pay is not funny. Nigeria is a country that, people from all over the world come to Nigeria to hire people, like the big companies, Amazon, Facebook, you just name it, they come to Nigeria to hire. Oh, then he said something. He says that there is so much opportunities, for young people. There are not so many opportunities in Nigeria. Trust me, especially when you are not from a privileged background, where you have to rise out of nothing. There's a parable that says, person where God don't bless, good things say other people lazy.
That's where God don't bless, good things say other people lazy. That was a very deep one, guys. And that's another reaction I've seen on the internet. I mean, there are more. Now, this is the one that really stood out for me. This guy, for the sake of privacy, for the sake of confidentiality, I'm not going to read out his name. But if he listens, he's the one I'm talking about, that I'm making references to it. That's okay, let me just call out his Twitter handle at Mr. Oli Baba. He said, I did 3 months with Moniepoint and resigned. I resigned and I'm not proud enough to have it on my CV. And he said, Moniepoint's employee relations and welfare doesn't equate the hype that they move with. That's very deep. And he moved forward further to said, is Moniepoint any better than commercial banks that recruit year in, year out? None have complained have complained of inexperienced workforces. So who is Moniepoint to talk about Nigeria's workforce with one of the best talents tool in the world, in the whole world? And let me just moving over to the very end. He said, during a last UBA camp GMAP graduation program, Tony Lumelu was asked to choose between talent and discipline for his workforce, and Tony said he would choose discipline any day, anytime. And why was that? He said talent can be groomed, people can be trained, and they will become good. So he will choose discipline because someone with an open mindset will be willing to learn. That is how a business leader talks. But Tosin of Moniepoint is looking for talent feeders where he can easily go to poach an A-list global standard, standard employees. I'm wondering who will train these talents for him. And he also did mention Moniepoint that sponsored BBN, that's Big Brother Niger, a glorified hookup show. The same man, the CEO, is complaining that our youths are more into hookups. So now what's my own take? What's my own assessment of this? First of all, like I said, I really want to understand the algorithm behind this. I don't know what could have made him. I don't know what happened in the whole recruitment process. He's the boss. There are people that work on. I'm sure there are people who handle the recruitment processes, of course. What was the report that was given to him? The people that are giving the report, did they actually do their homeworks? Okay, you put out an ad for 500 vacancies. Those roles that you say you couldn't find global standards. If you're looking for global standards, okay, people are applied and you didn't find. Did you also go into the market in Nigeria, the Nigerian labor market, to scout and say, okay, this is what we are looking for? We say that we have people all over the world. Nigerians are all over the world who are thriving and doing well wherever they are. Have you tried to poach any of them to say, come back? We are willing to pay XYZ. The money that you would pay those foreign investors, those Chinese and Indian guys. Dangote did say the same thing. I don't know if Dangote was beaten up, was actually chewed on the internet for this. Maybe because Tosin came out too much. But Dangote said the same thing about why he employed for a foreigner to manage his business and everything. And he said it is also difficult to find the same talent in Nigeria. And it makes me ask questions like, what are we doing? I mean, I know our education sector, our education system is failing, but the private companies, the government, what are we doing, okay, to augment or to cushion or to improve those sectors? And even when these graduates come out, what is the internship program like in Nigeria? Students go for industrial training. What happens in the industrial trainings? Because first of all, there are no jobs in Nigeria. People can't even build experiences. People develop skills, but how many people have access to resources to build and develop themselves? We live in a very difficult space. We need to call it what it is. Nigeria is difficult. Waking up every day in Nigeria and just moving around to even eat food, it's a blessing, it's a miracle. Where do you find, how would you even find global talent when first of all, the system itself is thwarting it? There are no opportunities for people to even maximize their skills. And even if they do, I'm going to say it as it is, the government will find a way to exploit those people. Recently, I had a conversation with a colleague, and we're talking about graduates from school who can easily get into teaching hospitals or government institutions to work and to develop their skills. You have to pay 500,000. You need to pay 50,000. You need to pay 100,000 to get into a training position. Haba. Meanwhile, other countries, other companies are paying their interns stipends, even giving them something, paid internship, like paying them to say, okay, come and learn the work. How many companies in Nigeria can we beat our chest and say they train people? You train people who will make up your system, people who understand your system, people who understand your algorithms. Does Moniepoint have an academy to say, okay, this is who we train? And let's not forget, the CEO of Moniepoint was also in a fintech company which built him, like trained him from the scratch to become who he was today before he built his company. How many companies in Nigeria are doing that? Can the government boast? How many people can the government bring out? Not the children of politicians, which of course I know they don't even do that because they actually fix things in those places. How many people can the government bring out today? I've attended events, I've attended birthdays, and I've seen where technocrats grew in the system. Retired civil servants and public servants who even went, like that lady said, went in with an SSCE, who went into the government with SSCE certificates. And the government trained them. They did their university, they converted, there were conversion courses and exams that they did. They grew in the system and the system favored them. But when they got to places of authority, what did they do to improve that? Or did they still replicate it? Or they made the system more difficult and more it's difficult for people to access? This conversation, this video is not for us to bite Tosin. It's not for us to chop off his head. What he has said, from my own point of view, from my own lens, is a wake-up call for us to reevaluate our labor market. It's a wake-up call for us to even look inwards and see what are we lacking for us to improve ourselves. How can we help each other grow and be that global standard, or or build that bag, or that estate of global talent that Tosin is looking for? There's something wrong with the Nigerian labor market. There's something wrong with the employment system in Nigeria. Many people have said that probably he could not even have, probably they refused to pay people who could have done the job. And part of why you say it did not find, because those people say we cannot do it. What are employers doing to make sure that, okay, if the talents are not there, what are companies doing to train? You would rather bring a foreigner and pay thousands and millions of dollars when you could invest that on your own? The foreigner that you brought into your country, into your company, his or her country trained, a country or the companies in their country trained them to get to where they are. What training programs are companies doing for people to benefit from? What training programs is the government doing that people can actually testify, that have meaning and content, like say is actually working, and not just going to go and learn what anybody can know? What special thing are we bringing? Guys, this is real talk. There's a lot at stake. It's not for us to go and bite Tosin's head. It's not for us to go and chop down Gote's head. It's not for us to start backing all over the place. We need to sit down and start asking the right questions and hold the people that we are supposed to hold accountable for certain actions, and also do our own part to develop ourselves. I am the Talksmith, and this has been a very interesting, sorry I went emotional, but these are the issues, and I cannot wait for more conversations to come your way as to how it affects us young people, young Nigerians here in Nigeria and all around the world. Stay tuned for the next conversation. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe, share this conversation, comment on the comment section. Let's talk, and let's have a conversation. Let's talk, let's comment, let us hear. What would you want us to talk about? Would you want to be on the spotlight mic? Let me know. So I'm so happy to be back, and I really hope that we have much more interesting conversations and shape a narrative for a much more better and much more fruitful Nigeria. God bless you.